Hi, this is Deana with Deana's Creative Studio. I'm located in Payson, Arizona. I just wanted to do a little scrapbooking today, so I thought I'd share with you. You can find me online at deanascreativestudio.com. Or if you wanted to purchase any Creative Memories products, you can find those at creativememories.com/cm/Deana. You can also find me on Instagram at Deana's Creative Studio. And please note, Deana is D-E-A-N-A, Dean with an A. So I just wanted to, excuse my allergy cough there. This is the project recipe book that Creative Memories put out. It was a temporary purchase. You can't get it anymore, but I am hopeful that they will put another one out. So 52 scrapbooking project recipes. And basically it goes over the project recipes that were released with certain paper packs, and it told you how to measure, it tells you how to measure the pages, how to cut it exactly so you can make the layout. So a lot of times I use this as a sketch. In this case, I'm actually going to be using it as a project recipe. I have 2 pieces of cardstock. Okay, this is the dark green and this is the navy blue. And then I have 2 pieces of thinner cardstock, thinner paper that I'm going to lay it on. And then this is all from Creative Memories. And the pictures I'm going to be putting on were from my husband and me in St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin, Ireland. We went on our honeymoon, which was just a couple years ago. Hard to believe. So I have pictures. These are all 4.4 by 6 or 6 by 4 prints. And I'm going to cut them to fit. Now, the only thing I haven't chosen is a border. And the border I think I want is actually, it looks kind of Celtic knot-ish. It's no longer available, but I'll show you how to use it. It's from Creative Memories, and it is one of their border punches. I know this one's no longer available. I don't have the name. I didn't look it up because I knew it wasn't available any longer. But it's basically got a little heart look, but it kind of looks Celtic. So I'm going to use that. Looks like almost a Celtic knot. So put that to the side for now. So basically, I need 2 pieces of paper and then the 2 papers to place it on. So right now, I'm just going to cut the papers, and then I'll cut the photos, and I'll show you what I'm doing with those. You're basically cutting the papers the same way, except this one's going to have outside here, and this one will have that L shape on the corner shape on this on the left side. Since I am not using paper with different designs on either side, it's not directional. It doesn't matter which way I put it. And I'm just going to do green for green and blue for blue because that works pretty well for me. So I've got my 12-inch trimmer here. Oops, forgive me, I moved the table accidentally. This is by Creative Memories. It is the best paper cutter I have ever used, and I have used many because I've been crafting for a while. It comes with 1 straight blade, which is in its housing. This is where the blade comes out. I'm not cutting myself. It doesn't actually work until you press down on the blade holder, or if I were to push in here, the blade would come out. So it's safe. You know, you're not at risk really for cutting yourself. This is the cutting mat, and it's got 4 different spots. You can turn it over and then flip it. So I've used it pretty well. I probably need to grab a new one, but I'm going to use it one more time. And that's replaceable. You can reorder that. It has little measuring guides of where you're going to cut, located on the top and the bottom. Here, I'll turn it this way for you so you can see exactly where you're going to cut. And on the side here, you can see you have measurements of how far from the top in inches. This is the exact middle. It's an inch to that line, an inch to the other side. And if you go to 5 inches there, you're going to cut exactly 5 inches. That's where the blade starts cutting. It has inches and centimeters on top and the bottom. Make sure you can see that. And then of course the arm comes out, and the arm has this little doodad here. And I did make a whole video about this. This is why I'm going kind of quickly. It has several different options. This isn't even all of the different blades, but there are different blades, and that'll hold underneath, and then it also holds another cutting strip. So what I might actually do is take that out right now. Let's go ahead and change it. I've been using this one for quite some time. As you can see how worn it is. It's got like totally has grooves in it. So it makes it easier to cut when you have a fresh one. So we're gonna start at number 1 because I might be a little OCD. And shove that in that spot there. Just press down. There we go. Doesn't want to go in. All right, so it is in there. I've got a fresh cutting surface, and I just changed the blade not that long ago, like last week. So on this paper here, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. I need to cut a strip that's 1.5 inches this direction and this direction, or width, and it goes the length of the paper in turns. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to need to stop at 1.5 inches here and then turn the paper and continue cutting. So there's a trick to that. I can either use the lines, because I'll need to stop there, or I can use a clip, and I forgot to get one out beforehand. Bear with me. All right. I had some Creative Memories clips, but I cannot locate it at this moment. So I'm going to use a clip, and basically I'm going to go at the 1.5 here. And actually, I don't cut that direction, so I'm going to put it down here. So, you got 12 here, so 1.5 would be right here. So basically, this can't move past that mark. I'm just going to make sure it lines up really well. So when I go to cut, I won't go past that point. Okay, and so I'm going to move it to 1. It has measurements on this side here, but you have measurements on this side as well. So this is 1, 1 1/4, 1.5. And you could do this either way. You could do the, I know this comes off my paper, my desk a little bit, because I have way too much stuff stored on my desk. One of these days I will have my own house, and then it'll be so much easier. So I'm gonna go from the end. I'm at 1.5 here, cut to here. Okay, so it stopped. Actually, I take that back. I put it at 1.5 here, but this is 1 inch here, so I actually need to put it at 1/2 inch. So I apologize for the confusion. Because there's an 1 inch here, so that's 1/2 plus 1. So that brought me to the 10.5 down there. So I'm gonna take this, rotate it, and I'm actually gonna flip it over because I don't wanna cut. I'm gonna do it the same way as I did this one, and I'll flip the other page. I have to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I will flip it so you can do it at this end. Okay, so this is gonna do the same thing. And it stops right there. So now I have that L shape, well, corner piece for basically sort of a border on the page. I've got that there. Okay, so I'm gonna put that to the side. I wish I had a side to put it to. Let me grab my rolling cart thing. Okay, so now I have H. H here just goes straight across the page, all the way across, okay? So I'm gonna take, this is a perfect square, as you can see. And if you go, it doesn't tell you what H is. So I'm just going to, looks like that's also 1.5. Let's take a look. It usually says. Oh, okay, that's just for punching. So it wants me to punch, and it wants me to use the leaves border punch. Well, that's for that project recipe. So I'm not doing that, but let's punch it first. So I'm gonna cut the corner piece out of this one as well. Go to 1.5. And so I'm gonna take this half to this side so you can see it better. And go to 1/2 inch. Get it as good as I can, perfect as I can. Okay, lay this up. And so 1.25, 1.5 on this side. Okay, so it only cut till there, but I'm gonna do the same thing. I rotated it and flipped it so I can get the measurement perfect. And all right, so I have the same square and the same corner border. And that, of course, because it's not a directional paper, I can flip it either way. I didn't do that on purpose. I just don't have enough of the Ireland paper to use. So I'm limited on it. So I'm being creative with different colors. This is not an Irish color. I could use orange. I have pumpkin, so I could do green and orange. So, because I could do green and orange and white underneath the colors of the Irish flag. I've got those squares. Let us punch. I'm gonna put this to the side for now. I'll take my clip off because I no longer need it. And grab my punch. This is called a border punch. You've got these lines here, so it punches out on the side and comes out in the bottom, and then you have all these extra pieces that you don't necessarily need called punch poop. but we call it punch poop. It's fun. Or confetti. Some people call it confetti. So you've got these lines here. So when you put your paper in for your first punch, you want to measure it, match it up with this line here. Since these are perfect squares, it doesn't matter which way I'm going to go. I'm just going to punch from this side. And I've got it matched up with that line. I don't know if any of you have ever used one of these punches before. Or something similar. And then when it comes out, not all of them, but a lot of these creative memory ones have this little arrow here to line up. And then you've got the blue to line up with your paper. So you make that as perfect as you can. And you continue punching. And then you do the same thing until you run out of paper on that side. Yep. Okay, one more punch. Now it's made so you can do the full 12 inches, but of course this paper is shorter, so our punch ended like that, but that's okay, because that's all that I need. And then you've got your punch poop down here. Sometimes you have hearts or stars or whatever, depending on what you punched. In my case, I have these little swirls. This is not something I probably wouldn't use this again, but if I had something I needed that for, I could save it and use it. But the little hearts or the stars or those I do use again. You can put them as decorations on the page. Now we're going to do the orange. We'll see which I want to do here. I almost moved that paper. So how many of you ever had a punch get stuck? Whether it be stuck closed after you punched it, or stuck where it was open and you couldn't punch anything. I have. It happens on occasion, and there are ways to fix it, which is really quite handy. I'll show you momentarily after I'm done with this page. And you don't want to do anything to break it, of course, but they're pretty hardy, pretty tough punches. So I've got this one. Now you see I didn't perfect here. It's not perfectly straight, but it looks just fine. It is good enough. Throw away this punch, confetti, punch. So I have 2 different colors ready. All right, so the next thing I need to do, this strip we're not going to worry about. I need 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 and 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to start with a 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. So here's my paper. We're going to flip it this way because I don't need this part here with the little arrows. So I need 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. So 3 1/2. So I need 3 1/2 inches wide. And I'm just going to cut straight. Helps if you push down. And then I need 4 1/4 in height for both of these. So I need 2 like that. So here's 1, 4 1/4, and here's 2. Okay, so I have 2 pieces, these 2 pieces here. So 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. Now I need to make the 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So 6¼ wide. So doing that, pull that out. I'm going to cut this part off because it was partially cut before, because I messed up on the size. 6¼ and then so 6¼ and then I need 4¼ and 4¼ so 4¼ here. I didn't push down hard enough. There we go. That was my jumbo tape runner that I just knocked onto the floor. And I'll show you, because I'm going to have to pick that up. And my little chihuahua's in here now. She's a little freaked out. All right, so these are going to be photo mats as well. So what I'm doing with this layout, it calls for 1, 2, 3, 4 landscape photos, and then 3 of the others, and then this is a journaling box. Well, you could also rotate this, and if I rotated it to have vertical photos, I would use this and flip it and put it on this side. Put it this direction. Or you can do this one this direction and this one this direction, just so it accentuates the paper. And and then the border would be running straight down in the different colors. So you could do that. You could maneuver as you need to. So this is going to be a landscape photo, as is that, and that one. I was very limited on landscape. I tended to take a lot of vertical photos. That's my goofy husband. So I'm going to cut this. Actually, I wasn't going to cut this one. I was going to print this picture as a 3x4 picture. So make it smaller. So I'll have to do that. And I'm going to cut this one and this one that he took of me, use as is, and cut it to make that size. So let me pause while I print that photo. All right, so I printed that photo and cut it. So here it is. It's actually 3 inches by 4 inches. I use a program called Project Life, and you can do different layouts and then export it to your photos to save. So it's a little bit, this was the other picture I printed I'm going to use for something else for my garden. Okay, so I got that picture cut. Now I have to cut, I'm going to cut this picture here, and yeah, that picture there. So I'm going to cut these so they are 3x4. Since they're 4 high already, I got to do 3 inches. So wide. So that would be 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is going to cut it here with our paper trim, our photo trimmer, and you're going to want to put it under, measure it up, and press on that, and then bring it down. Okay, so I need 3. So that's about, and I need actually 3 1/4, which is what the photo calls for, 3 1/4, but that one's only 3x4. So I might just do 3 inches just to make it the same everywhere. Well, let's do 3 1/4. Let's do 3 1/4, and that one will just be a little bit smaller. And it's already 4 inches. So there's that picture, and it's really a zoomed in photo. That's okay. And this one is another zoomed out photo. So 3 1/4. We're gonna try to cut this. That's fairly centered. Okay, so I have these mats here. These are, got paper in between. These are by Creative Memories. It's really quite handy. They are 13 by 13 mats, and they are made such, if I take my repositional tape runner and just put a strip on there and lay the paper down in the middle, and the reason why I have 2 of them, you'll see in a second, because I do 2-page layouts a lot, and a lot of people do. It makes it a lot easier to lay out everything on your scrapbooking. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I apologize. And so it'll stay there with that repo tape. And now that I've got it measured out or laid out, I can make the pages as symmetrical as possible. So we are using the green. I'll save this blue for something else. The green and the orange. I'm going to lay everything out, and then we'll go back and put it down. Now it has you using the opposite sides of the paper, of each paper. I'm not doing that because it's just the same colors. However, I'm going to determine whether I want green and orange and green and orange, and I think I do. Because I think it leaves it a little bit, I think I like it like that. This side has more orange than green. I could do this way, and then it would be, yeah, I think I like it mixed. And then I've got my pictures. I'll put his picture here. So now, I've got this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. It's all the same area. And that's how it's gonna look when I'm done. And then I'll do some journaling here, and it's a lighter color, so I can just journal directly on that cardstock, or I can get a white piece of cardstock and cut it and journal on that, which I think would look very good as well. Now I've got my 2 pages. I'll do journaling when I figure out what to put on there. And the only other thing I need to do is add embellishments. So you'll see here, they have embellishments. Now they did cut like a banner here and flip the piece over and put it down. I'm not doing that. One, I'm just gonna leave it green. I like it that way, and I'll leave this orange. I like it the way it is. So I hope if you have any questions, you will reach out to me and let me know. And I look forward to sharing more with you. Again, this was in number 41 recipe template from Creative Memories Scrapbooking Project Recipes. And the other thing I wanted to show you again is if you have any questions, you can email me. My email is located on my website. It's Deana at deanascreativestudio.com. You can order if you saw anything that you wanted to order, creativememories.com/cms/Deana, or you can find me on Instagram where I post a lot of pictures of different crafty projects I work on. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.